Hello, everybody who listens to Wonka Watch on this feed. We have given you a little appetizer because we have a new podcast now entering Clatfartburg. And if you didn't catch the finale, if the finale is too much for you, go to the last half hour. We have timestamps because we go through the whole explanation of entering this podcast and what it's about. But here, we're going to give you some crumbs right now because this is the new podcast, the new adventure that Felicia and I are going on. And now entering Clatfartburg is a world-building comedy podcast. So those episodes that y'all have reached out to us tenfold, absolutely
the
amazing.
Game show?
Remember the game show that we loved?
You want a whole podcast like the game show?
No worries.
That's what Now Entering Clatfartburg is. That's what we wanted, and that's what we designed it for.
Yeah, so basically, Felicia and I, every episode, are going to come together, and we are going to create either an event or maybe a themed restaurant or whatever is going on in this fictional town of Clatfartburg. We're going to be creating these scenarios, building it out together, and our goal is that listeners like you can also participate and provide ideas and stuff for us, which we're currently working out on how best to go about that. But we really think that, you guys have already been so interactive with us, which was fantastic for, Wonka Watch. And we really...
Yeah. And now we'll actually be able to do something with it. Whereas with Wonka Watch, we were kind of locked on this track towards misery, of just you have to review these weird old Wonka pieces. And now we can really get sidetracked in a way that is lovely because there's no plan. There's no looming end date. There's no things we have to do. It is so relaxing.
Yeah. It's a lovely stroll in the creative Imaginary Land Park.
Up on here is going to be the first 15 minutes of Now Entering Clatfartburg. And to go and listen to the rest of it, there'll be links in the description, obviously. But, go follow it on the podcast platforms you listen to. And that'll be super helpful for us because, look, we are making a desperate attempt to get on Apple's New and Notable. So if you want to leave us a rating and a review over there, that'd be super helpful.
Yes.
We know it probably won't happen, but can a girl dream?
Right? And the best way that podcasts can be heard by other people, the best way to spread the word about a podcast and to help us out is to share it with your friends. Word of mouth is the number one thing that helps podcasts get out there. So
if your friends were previously turned off by the fact that it was about Wonka, very understandable.
Yes.
Maybe this one will be easier
friends
to
in
sell.
my own life have gone, I'm really proud of what you did on Wonka Watch. I just couldn't do it with Wonka, but I'm really excited to dive into this.
as I have in my own life as well.
It's so fair.
And I don't blame them.
So, it'll also same upload schedule. We're going to do Wednesdays bi-weekly. So your routine.
It's been working
if you listen
well.
to Wonka Watch on Wednesdays, don't worry. It's going to be the same thing. Just now entering Clatfartburg.
Yeah, we realized Wednesday is May 1st, and we said, "Oh, that feels so good,
and so nice,
that's
so crispy."
We now present to you Now Entering Clatfartburg, episode 1, Clatfartburg's annual Crispy Fest.
Enjoy.
And, enjoy these first 15 minutes, and then pop on over to Clatfartburg side of town.
Hello, everybody. This is Now Entering Clatfartburg, a comedy world-building podcast where I, Elaine,
And me, Felicia. You take a month off podcasting, you forget how to podcast, guys.
It's Felicia and I are good friends, and we've known each other for many years because we had a previous podcast called Wonka Watch. So you would think we would know how to interact with each other and socialize, but I feel like I'm meeting you for the first time.
I do, weirdly, which is odd. 2.5 years.
It's like we were married at one point, separated,
had our kids. Seeing other people.
We were seeing other people, had our kids, that life closed, and now we're reuniting, and we're like, yes, we haven't. It's just been a month break, though, and we still
it's truly only been a month.
It's not like,
and we've talked multiple times since, so I don't know what's happening to us. But yeah, welcome to our podcast. Welcome to Clatfartburg. It's the most place on earth, and we're here to discover it together.
You're probably thinking, what is a world-building podcast? Is this like a D&D thing? Is this you guys are scripting it out? it is something so much sillier than that. It is just us creating a world together. And along the way, you will have input. We haven't figured out the exact format, but this is kind of a group project we all get to do where we are creating this town that is bigger than life in some ways. And Felicia and I we will occasionally prepare some things, but for the most part, we're going to have like a topic and we're just going to go. Because we, in our other podcast, Wonka Watch, realized that our favorite episodes, which if you don't even know what's going on there, the long story short is that Wonka movie with Timothée Chalamet was coming out, and Felicia learned about it like really early on and then convinced me to join her on this podcast journey, which was a hoot and a half, but we lost our minds because we actually didn't care about Wonka, but then accidentally ended up really in depth in it. So some of the episodes were just like, what would our childhood crushes do if they went through the factory? And let's put everyone through the Hunger Games. So things that, I don't know, you might not think would directly be on a Willy Wonka podcast. This is also the last time I will probably ever say Willy Wonka because
it pains me every time you say the words.
I honestly feel dead inside as I continue to say it. But that other podcast, no. We had a lovely time with it, but we found that our favorite episodes were the ones where we were just silly, making up the stupidest shit. And something we infamously have always said is that there's an episode on that podcast where we created our own reality TV show. And we had nothing planned. We just knew we were making one.
It has always been our favorite episode. And it was episode, I think, 25 or 24. We did 115. None of them unseated it. Not even the finale.
That was it.
So it was, we knew that was the direction we had to take it. So we're here to make the world of Clatfartburg. So we knew this was the direction we wanted to take the podcast. So we spent a long time together trying to come up with a name for it. And we do want to give you guys the origin of the name because we do feel like it is relevant. We looked up Weird Words website and we got to the letter C, and Elaine said the word clatfart, which is, I believe, British slang for like stupid gossip. Mm-hmm. And we put a burg on that. And then we got so excited that we jumped around and did a little dance for, I think, 30 minutes.
Yeah. Which is, we know it's a dumb name. I just would like to clarify that from the beginning of this. And we know it's bold to.
We know it actively hurts the mouth to say.
Yes. Now.
But after a while, you get used to it. So.
You do.
The format of Clatfartburg, every week, we're going to be tackling something new in the town of Clatfartburg. And today, we're going to be talking about the annual Crispy Fest. Clatfartburg's annual Crispy Fest. Mm-hmm. That is some sort of festival that celebrates Crispy the talking bass.
Yeah.
That's our topic for today because we thought, look, this will give us a nice overview of the town. It'll be a tone setter for the rest of the show. And the great thing is what we do today will not be thrown out again next week. Oh, no. Because I can't be normal about anything. So I made a database that we will be able to enter in locations and characters every week. The important locations and characters from each week will be entered in this database. And when we hit a stopping point, when we realize we're in a routine, we need something to break us out of it, we can run the great Clatfartburg randomizer and pull someone back from the ether to really throw a wrench in our plans.
You created our own machine.
Essentially, because we wanted something that would force things to get fucked up, you know?
Yes.
In a way that was out of our hands. Like something bigger than us. We are not the gods of this world. Is the machine that we don't want to get into the deep lore today. It will develop over time, trust.
No worries.
No worries, that'll be fine. Now, you may be asking yourself, who the fuck is Crispy the Talking Bass? Well, he's a relic from our old podcast, Wonka Watch. Trust, there was no context for him there, so you do not need it here. He's just a bass.
He's just like all those other basses, you know? He's just a regular bass, talks, sometimes on a plaque.
And he doesn't sing. Crucially, he doesn't sing.
No.
He seems to do a kind of thing that's more of a magic 8-ball. He's mostly a magic 8-ball, but a talking bass.
So I'm starting off really tame. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I introduced to you Crispy, the talking bass. So,
wow. Wow. Okay. We go from the realism of the nougat dealer to the pure whimsy of Crispy the talking bass.
Now, here you go. So, Crispy the talking bass is one of those wall-mounted basses that you press the button and it'll talk. And normally those will sing for a bit. They have certain catchphrases, but Crispy the talking bass is a little different. So Wonka found him in a dumpster behind a Tuesday morning. What a shock. Behind a Tuesday morning.
Is that a place?
Oh yeah, it's like a how would I describe it?
I thought we were in like such pure whimsy that he was finding it behind the concept of a Tuesday morning.
And I do want it to be known, it does say Crispy on the plaque. He did not come up with the name Crispy. Now, granted, that is the gentleman who created Crispy the bass. He makes these in his garage, and he goes to farmers markets usually, and most likely someone bought this thing, realized it was worse than all the other ones. It didn't sing, and it just said stupid shit. And then they threw it away while they were at Tuesday morning, because that's the best dumpster in town, as we all know.
I love Crispy the Talking Bass. I'm fucking obsessed with Crispy the Talking Bass. Thank you so much for bringing Crispy to the table.
Thank you. I just love that was the only one I pre-thought of.
I don't know how he's relevant to the town, but we realized having the mascot of Crispy felt so right.
We just really liked him.
And also I needed a spot to fill on the billboard of the cover art, so he's on there. We needed a mascot, okay? Because what the fuck was our profile photo going to be? So, because you can't fit Clatfartburg in a circle. You cannot fit the title in a circle.
And we're not just about to have fart be the
Exactly. We can't go hardcore on the fart branding.
The fart's got to be subtle.
It's got to be
like you're in class.
A subtlety.
And no one needs to know.
Exactly. So that's why Crispy's here. He's from a pure practical perspective. Mainly, he came out of a professional necessity. But now we have to work him into the world. And just aesthetically, he makes sense to us. Yes, of course, Crispy the Talking Bass is deeply important to Clatfartburg. Now you may ask, how is he important? We don't know that yet. And we may or may not figure that out today. Is he real in this universe? I don't know. I don't know
either. But I love him. I love him to death.
I love Crispy so much.
So I'm glad that he gets to be here and that we get to celebrate him today.
We have been tasked with coming up with some vendors we think will be at the Crispy Fest, and then also some just general events to happen at the Crispy Fest. But other than that, it's all free for all.
I think my first question here, because it'll be really helpful, is this happening in like the town square? If Clatfartburg really has a big one, or is this out in a field? Is this like state fair vibe?
I was thinking field.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
There's something I'm picturing a field. There's something very thrown together about this to me.
Yeah,
this is not like
pop-up tents.
Yeah, this is not local businesses putting a table outside. It is like everything is. If a wind were to hit, it would be disastrous to this event.
Yeah. Okay. I can totally see
That's the kind of energy I'm thinking.
Gotcha. Oh, I love that. Okay. Cool. So we're in a field, and I'm thinking. I just sometimes if I have the visual, it helps me really, figure out like
of course,
how many
it's
people
important to define
stuff. So I imagine like I'm thinking of like classic state fairs and like 4th of July things where there's like that one big row where you're like popping to all the vendors. There's like food truck section, and then there's usually some weird games. So I imagine there might be some games here too.
Yeah.
Probably not any like I imagine big amusement park like the rotating traveling ones. They're not. That's not Clatfartburg style. They don't have
not Clatfartburg
funds.
scene.
But also, I don't think they would.
But I also feel like Clatfartburg probably does have a theme park somewhere in it, mostly because I think we'll have fun with making one of those one day.
Yes.
So they don't need it. Why would they? They're going to go to the cool theme park that will one day be created by us.
Yes. Oh boy.
So yeah, I also think I was kind of enamored at having like a little contest at this event.
Yes.
So I had thought of prior to this, I was thinking about having something called the Crispy Competition.
Okay.
So the Crispy Competition, I was thinking the contestants have to lip sync to ocean/water themed songs for a bit, and then maybe just, in the talking bass tradition. That's more the singing bass tradition. And I was also thinking maybe they have to like try and predict an event from the future, but I was like, how the fuck would that be judged? So I scrapped that idea. But like maybe just with like the gravitas with which they say it is how they're judged.
Yeah. What if, sorry, that just reminded me, what if there's like a wishing tree, but it's a prediction tree, and so you put down what you think you want to happen or think will happen, and you put it on the tree, and then the next year like they have the old ones and you pick up what you thought.
Ooh,
but
they forget to genuinely fun.
That could be fun. But like, what if they forget to label it properly, or like something? I feel like something could go horribly wrong with that kind of thing. Because
No,
what if there's
that's
someone
true.
who predicted every tragedy that happened that year, and they'll know your name because they had to save it for you, and so someone's just holding this deep dark secret where they're like, something's not right with Becky. Like,
Yeah, and it's not
how
like
did Becky know about?
maybe this is a problem this year that the things from the crispy. I like everything to have alliteration at this festival. I had this idea that they enforce that everything must start with a C at this festival.
Oh yeah,
That everything must. So the crispy. Oh, I've got something. It's up there.
the crispy. He's also a bass. Can we give them a B as well? C's or B's?
I looked up prediction synonyms. The crispy conjecture tree. Crispy's conjecture tree.
These 5-year-olds are going out, can I go to the crispy twee? It's like, I can't
We do
get
not
it
have to
out.
stick by the alliteration because that's going to be a lot of me looking up on the thesaurus this episode, which I don't think is great content. But Crispy's conjecture tree is bad as a title.
I do love it. I like that you've said it 2 times now, and I don't think it's stuck for me. Crispy's conjecture tree. Crispy's
conjecture tree. It sounds like I'm building a car.
I don't remember it as Crispy's tree. Wait, fish can't what's the one fish can't swim, fish can't climb? What's that idiom? It's like,
I have no clue what the hell you're talking about.
You can't be mad at a fish if it doesn't know how to walk because fish were meant to be in water or whatever that fucking shit is. And they've
Really
taken
rolls off the tongue.
someone, whatever that shit is. This is written on a poster by the tree, which is not a real tree, by the way. I would like to clarify, this is not a real tree.
What do you think the tree is made of? I want to know what you think the tree is made of.
I would love to think that they've repurposed something from the high school theater
I feel like
program.
most of these episodes is going to be turning into an interrogation of each other of what the fuck do you think
It's like,
this
what
is?
the fuck do you think this tree is? After you've said crispy conjecture. We don't
need the conjecture tree. I'm sorry, it was a bad
crispy
bit. We're putting conjecture tree away.
We need a tree. Cedar. I don't know.
Crispy cedar conjecture tree.
Sounds like a horrible fish
don't even lose
operation.
the tree. The
Anyway, the tree, be it real or not, from a high school production or this tiny little tree where everyone goes and this tree that's actually kind of died a few times because they keep tying these items to the tree and it's not ready to handle it yet.
yeah.
Or
I like
Emerald
that.
Ash Boar got it. I don't know, something tragic. Anyway, I like the idea that, there's this one sentimental, cute thing that could happen, but unfortunately, whoever's working that table knows that somebody has weirdly predicted all bad things, and it's like, did you predict them or did you make a to-do list?
It's that, or like people are wishing for things they want to happen, and last year's things, they get given to the wrong people.
Oh.
And you learn this person wished for like somebody else's marriage to break up. Like it was a fucking mess. Like there's a lot of ways this could go, you know?
Oh, this is good. So
I like this. I like Crispy's, I'm trying to come up with more syllables to make it longer and worse every time. But I'm running out
Crispy's
of words.
creepy conjecture conundrum.
Crawly conjecture conundrum cedar tree.